Pacifica, this is Democracy Now! As President and Vice President Biden wraps up his trip to Central America, insisting the drug war must continue, a growing number of Latin American leaders call for the decriminalization or legalization of drugs. We'll speak with Ethan Nadelman of the Drug Policy Alliance. Then beautiful souls saying no, breaking ranks, and heeding the voice of conscience in dark times. We speak with author A.L. Press about whistleblowers.
What makes people on the inside of institutions, whether corporations or military units or government agencies, say no to an order, to a duty that conflicts with their principles and convictions.
And we'll find out why a Texan man has launched a campaign to smuggle books into Arizona.
Libro traficante. Me and my fellow libro traficantes will be smuggling contraband books back into Arizona this spring break, March 2012.
We speak with author and activist Tony Diaz in Houston. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The Obama administration's reportedly offered Israel upgraded military weaponry in exchange for delaying an attack on Iran until next year, after the November elections. The Israeli newspaper Ma'ariv reports the deal was presented to Israel during President Obama's talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier this week. The U.S. offer reportedly includes advanced bunker-busting bombs and long-range refueling planes. The bombs in question are said to be more powerful than Israel's current arsenal of bunker-busting weapons, granting Israel additional capability to strike Iranian facilities below ground. According to Reuters, an Israeli official confirmed Thursday Israel has made a request for bunker-busting bombs and refueling planes from the United States. Speaking at a news conference in Vienna, Iran's ambassador to the International Atomic Energy Agency, Ali Sultanieh, called for Israel to be sanctioned at the United Nations for making threats against Iran.
Israel is continuously violating this resolution, therefore violating United Nations Charter. And according to that resolution, in fact, the United Nations Security Council has to immediately act upon condemning Israel and work on this matter to prevent escalation, threatening, and threat of attack.
The latest news on U.S.-Israel military talks comes as the Iranian government faces pressure over its recent decision to allow fresh nuclear inspections. Western officials say they've received intelligence Iran is seeking to clean up its Parchin military complex ahead of a new visit by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Robert Wood, the head of the U.S. mission to the IAEA, called the reports disturbing.
I don't want to get into intelligence issues or anything like that, but certainly there have been reports out there that that Iran has been so-called sanitizing the Parchin site. That would be, if that's really happening, that's of great concern to us, and I think it kind of makes sense why Iran denied the agency access and was very concerned about providing access to the agency. So I don't know what's going on there at Parchin, but the reports are very disturbing.
Speaking in Washington, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said the U.S. hopes to resolve the Iran nuclear issue diplomatically. But in a potential nod to the threat of U.S. or Israeli military action, Clinton said it's more urgent to resolve the issue now than it has been in the past.
We are hoping that the Iranians will come to the table prepared to have the kind of serious and sincere discussion we have been looking for several years. We think it is even more pressing and imperative today than it has been in the past, and we would like to see diplomatic progress, which we support.
Syrian opposition activists are rejecting calls from former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan for dialogue with the Syrian government. Annan, now the joint United Nations Arab League envoy to Syria, warned against military intervention Thursday and said a resolution to the Syria conflict lies in a political settlement. But Syrian dissidents have rejected Annan's comments as a, quote, disappointment, saying there's no room for dialogue as Syrian President Bashar al-Assad carries on with attacks on opposition strongholds. Also Thursday, UN humanitarian chief Valerie Amos spoke of witnessing widespread devastation during her brief tour of the former rebel stronghold of Baba Amr in Homs.
The devastation there is significant. That part of Homs is completely destroyed, and I'm concerned to know what has happened to the people who lived in that part of the city.
It's a very interesting country. Of course, I was devastated by what I saw in Baba Amr yesterday.
Greece has convinced the vast majority of its private investors to forgive more than $132 billion in debt, paving the way for European finance chiefs to approve a second bailout to the debt-stricken country. Finance leaders are expected to discuss the bailout package worth more than $171 billion today. Hundreds of people rallied across the West Bank and Gaza on Thursday to support an imprisoned Palestinian woman who's on a hunger strike to protest her detention by the Israeli government. Hannah Shalabi is on the 23rd day of refusing to eat since her arrest last month. She's being held without charge or trial. The rallies were held to coincide with International Women's Day. Palestinian lawmaker Hanan Ashrawi called Shalabi a symbol of Palestinian resistance.
الحركة النسوية بشكل عام بكل أطرها الرسمية وغير رسمية الآن رأت في هنا الشلبي الأسيرة المحررة.
The women's movement in general, all formal and informal parties, see Hannah Shalabi, a prisoner held without any evidence or trial, as a symbol of Palestinian resistance, an extraordinary symbol of the spirit of Palestinian women.
روح المقاومة روح
Here in the United States, the Democrat-controlled Senate has rejected a Republican measure to speed up an approval decision on the Keystone XL pipeline, the controversial project that would carry tar sands oil from Canada to the Gulf Coast. President Obama took part in lobbying against the resolution, personally calling senators to seek their votes. The Republican effort marked a challenge to Obama's attempt to delay a decision pending additional review, and also until after the 2012 elections. Attorney General Eric Holder's confirmed the Justice Department's reviewing the New York Police Department's widespread surveillance of Muslims in the northeastern United States. Testifying before a Senate panel, Holder said he was disturbed by reports of the spying out of New York, which included the monitoring of mosques and Islamic student groups in neighboring New Jersey.
There are various components within the Justice Department that are actively looking at these matters. I talked to Governor Christie, actually. I saw him at a reception, I guess, a couple of days or so ago, and he expressed to me the concerns that he had. He's now publicly expressed his concerns as only he can. And I think at least what I've read publicly, and again, just what I've read in the newspapers, is disturbing, and these are things that are under review at the Justice Department.
Holder's remarks follow strong criticism of the NYPD by the top FBI agent in New Jersey, who said NYPD monitoring in the state had damaged relations between law enforcement and Muslims. In the latest development, the Associated Press has revealed the NYPD kept secret files on businesses owned by second- and third-generation Americans simply because they were Muslim. Records show plainclothes officers were assigned to target the region's Syrian population and to, quote, focus on Muslims. More than 400 faculty members across the country have signed a petition condemning the spying and calling for New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly and Deputy Police Commissioner Paul Brown to resign. A private contractor is accusing Bank of America of deliberately blocking aid to struggling homeowners by preventing loan modifications while still receiving government assistance under the Federal Home Affordable Modification Program. The contractor, Gregory Mackler, says he witnessed the practice while working with Bank of America executives at Urban Lending Solutions, a company contracted by the bank to handle some of its loan modification business. According to Mackler, Bank of America officials regularly pretended to have lost homeowners' documents, failed to credit payments during trial modifications, and intentionally misled homeowners about their eligibility for government help. On Thursday, members of the group Code Pink were arrested at a Bank of America branch in New York protesting the company's foreclosure policies. The Georgia State Senate has approved a measure that would require adults to pass a drug test before they could receive welfare benefits. The ACLU of Georgia has condemned the bill, calling it unconstitutional. Similar laws in Michigan and Florida have been blocked in court. The Georgia bill now heads to the State House. And in Haiti, hundreds have marched in the capital, Port-au-Prince, calling on the UN to pay reparations for the cholera epidemic that's killed over 6,000 people. Some 450,000 Haitians have also been sickened since the outbreak erupted in October 2010. This week, former President Bill Clinton, the UN Special Envoy to Haiti, acknowledged the outbreak likely originated with a battalion of Nepalese troops with the UN peacekeeping mission. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country.